There, fellow movie enthusiasts and horror aficionados. Welcome back to another episode of Real Talk with me, Josh Bell. Today, we're embarking on a spine-tingling adventure into the heart of horror with a film that holds a special place in my cinema-loving soul, Evil Dead 2: Dead by Dawn. Now, when it comes to horror, there are classics, there are cult favorites, and then there's Evil Dead 2. The movie isn't just a fright fest. It's a wild, blood-soaked roller coaster ride through the twisted mind of director Sam Raimi. From the eerie atmosphere to the over-the-top gore, Evil Dead 2 is a wonderful example of horror filmmaking that has earned its rightful place in the pantheon of cinema. But what sets Evil Dead 2 apart from the countless other horror films out there? Well, it's not just the scares, although there are plenty of those to go around. It's the perfect balance of horror and humor that makes this truly unforgettable. One moment you're jumping out of your seat in terror, and the next you're laughing out loud at the sheer absurdity of it all. It's a delicate tightrope act that few films can pull off, but Evil Dead 2 does it with style and finesse. So whether you're a seasoned horror veteran or just dipping into those murky waters of the genre, join me as we journey into that heart of darkness with Evil Dead 2: Dead by Dawn. It's a wild ride from start to finish, and I can't wait to share the thrills and chills with all of you. Grab your chainsaw, stock up on shotgun shells, and get ready for a night you'll never forget. Let's dive headfirst into the madness of Evil Dead 2: Dead by Dawn. Evil Dead 2 is a roller coaster ride of horror and dark comedy that keeps us on the edge of our seats while simultaneously making us laugh. The film opens with Ash Williams and his girlfriend Linda venturing into a secluded cabin in the woods for a romantic getaway. Little do they know, the cabin holds sinister secrets, including the Necronomicon Ex-Mortis, also known as the Book of the Dead. When they stumble upon the recording of the incantations from the book and play it, they unwittingly awaken ancient demonic forces lurking in the woods. As Linda becomes possessed by the evil entity, Ash is forced into a nightmarish battle for survival. His attempts to save Linda result in her gruesome demise, setting the tone for the relentless onslaught of terror that follows. But just when Ash thinks things couldn't get any worse, a group of strangers arrives at the cabin, including Annie, whose father was researching the Necronomicon. They bring hope of reversing the curse, but the evil force quickly takes hold of them, turning the cabin into a battleground of chaos and madness. Amidst this chaos, Ash's own hand becomes possessed, leading to one of the most memorable and hilariously grotesque scenes in horror cinema as he battles his own appendage with a chainsaw. The combination of gruesome horror and slapstick comedy reaches its peak in this iconic moment. But as the night wears on, the cabin becomes a blood-soaked arena of supernatural mayhem, with Ash facing increasingly absurd and terrifying challenges. The demonic forces torment him relentlessly, testing his will to survive in the face of unimaginable horror. In the climactic showdown, Ash harnesses his inner strength and determination to confront the evil head-on. Armed with a chainsaw and his boomstick, he unleashes a whirlwind of destruction upon the demonic entities, culminating in a spectacular battle that defies both logic and sanity. But just when it seems like Ash has emerged victorious, the story takes an unexpected turn. Using the Necronomicon, Ash unwittingly opens a time portal, hurling himself into a medieval landscape filled with knights, witches, and even more horrors to come. But that's another movie. Evil Dead 2: Dead by Dawn is a genre-defying masterpiece that blends horror, comedy, and some sheer insanity into an experience unlike any other. With its unforgettable characters, iconic moments, and the relentless energy, it has rightfully earned its place in my cinema pantheon. Let's take a quick break right here. When we get back, we'll talk about the soundtrack. The soundtrack for Evil Dead 2: is fairly similar to that of Evil Dead 1, which we talked about a few weeks back. It's a haunting symphony of terror that perfectly complements the film's atmosphere of dread and chaos. Joseph LoDuca's original score is the perfect accompaniment for a horror composition. It utilizes a blend of eerie strings, some ominous percussion, and some unsettling melodies to evoke a sense of unease that continues to linger in us as the viewers. From the opening moments of the film, where the music sets the stage for the horrors to come, to the pulse-pounding crescendos during the most intense sequences, LoDuca's score is an essential element of the film's success. One of the standout features of the soundtrack is its ability to enhance the film's sense of isolation and claustrophobia in that small cabin. It's a sparse, minimalist compositions that it uses create an oppressive atmosphere that mirrors what our characters are feeling, that feeling of being trapped in a cabin with no hope of escape. This feeling of isolation is further amplified by using dissonant chords and discordant harmonies, which create a real sense of unease. In addition to the score, Evil Dead 2 also features a selection of some licensed tracks that add to the film's offbeat charm. From the croons of Hush, 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 Here Comes the Boogeyman, to the upbeat Old-Fashioned Love, each song really contributes to this eclectic soundscape, further immersing the audience, us, in that nightmarish world of the film. For me, some of the most memorable aspect of the soundtrack, though, is the use of the special effects. The guttural growls of the possessed to the bone-crunching impacts of Ash's battles with the Deadites. Every sound is crafted to maximize the impact and the intensity of the film's most harrowing moments. It's the subtle details that make the soundtrack such a standout feature and an essential component in this and really any film in the horror genre. We'll take another quick break right here. When we get back, let's talk about some of the themes that are brought up in Evil Dead. So if you haven't figured out by now, Evil Dead 2 is a wild ride through some dark and twisted corridors of horror cinema. But beneath the blood-soaked surface, lies some really deep thematic elements that add to the narrative. One of the most prevalent themes in the film is this concept of survival against insurmountable odds. As our hero Ash finds himself trapped in a remote cabin, besieged by demonic forces, he needs to muster every ounce of strength and resourcefulness just to stay alive. This theme of survival really resonates with us. It taps into our primal instinct to overcome adversity in the face of danger. Another compelling theme is the exploration of isolation and paranoia. As Ash grapples with the horrors unfolding around him, he becomes increasingly isolated from the outside world, both physically and mentally. This claustrophobic setting of the cabin amplifies the sense of dread, while the constant threat of demonic possession leaves him questioning his own sanity. This theme of isolation is really conveyed through the film's atmospheric cinematography and the eerie sound design that immerses us into Ash's nightmarish struggle for survival. And then the film also delves into some themes of transformation and rebirth. Throughout the film, Ash undergoes a dramatic evolution from this terrified victim to a larger-than-life hero. His journey from vulnerability to empowerment is symbolized by his iconic chainsaw and shotgun-wielding bravado, marking a profound transformation both physically and emotionally. The theme of rebirth speaks to the resilience of the human spirit and our capacity for growth even in the face of unimaginable horror. Evil Dead 2 also serves as a commentary on the nature of fear itself. By blending these elements of horror and comedy, the film subverts our expectations and challenges conventional genre conventions. Rather than succumbing to this terror, Ash confronts his fear with that bravado and dark humor, turning the tables on his demonic adversaries in a gleeful display of defiance. The theme here of fearlessness in that face of danger underscores the film's irreverent tone and invites us to confront our own anxieties with courage and resilience. So Evil Dead 2 transcends its genre trappings to explore those themes of survival, isolation, transformation, and fear. Through its captivating narrative, visceral thrills, and iconic imagery, the film captivates us with its thematic depth and enduring legacy. Whether it's viewed as a visceral horror experience or a thought-provoking exploration of the human psyche, Evil Dead continues to resonate, helping cement itself as a timeless classic of horror cinema. With that, let's take a pause here. When we get back, we'll talk about the cast and crew that brought this film to the screen. So let's shine the spotlight on the remarkable cast and crew behind Evil Dead 2: Dead by Dawn. Those whose collective efforts brought the film to life in such a memorable way. And the face of the movie at the forefront is Bruce Campbell. Such a charismatic actor who embodies the role of Ash with gusto and bravado. Campbell's portrayal of Ash is this perfect blend of machismo and comedy as he battles both the demonic forces and his own inner turmoil with the chainsaw in hand and a quip on his lips. His physicality and his comedic timing are remarkable, making Ash, for me, an enduring icon of horror cinema. Supporting Campbell is an ensemble cast that adds depth and dimension to the narrative. Sarah Berry, whose compelling performance as Anna Nobi, infuses the character with a mix of determination and vulnerability as she seeks to uncover the secrets of the Necronomicon. Dan Hicks, with his charm as the role of Jake. Cassie Wesley DePaiva injects Bobby Joe with a fierce spirit that adds an extra layer of tension to the group dynamics. And then behind the camera, director Sam Raimi is at the top of his game here. His visionary talent and super innovative approach to filmmaking, his dynamic camera work and creative use of practical effects create a sense of real frenetic energy that propels the film forward and provides that relentless intensity. And his ability to blend the horror with his comedy, it really makes Evil Dead 2 stand apart from other genre films. It becomes a standout in the horror canon, something that horror comedies to this day thrive or strive to achieve. Adding to the visceral impact is the work of makeup artist, this time around Greg Nicotero. His gruesome creature designs and gory special effects really contribute to the nightmarish atmosphere here. And his attention to detail and commitment to practical effects bring the grotesque deadites to life in this terrifying, gory detail, adding to the horror of the proceedings. And as we mentioned, Joseph LoDuca, his score setting the tone for the film's descent into madness. Together, all of these people and the countless others really bring together what to me is the perfect balance of horror and comedy into one package that is Evil Dead 2. With that, let's take a quick break, and then I'll break down why this holds a special place for me. So why does Evil Dead 2: Dead by Dawn hold a special place in my heart? Well, first and foremost, to me, it's the epitome of a cult classic, blending the horror, comedy, and sheer absurdity in a way that's both terrifying and at the same time entertaining. From the iconic chainsaw hand to the infamous possessed hand sequence, every moment of the film is packed with these over-the-top thrills and spills that never fail to put a smile on my face. One of the things that sets it apart for me, though, is its sheer inventiveness. Director Sam Raimi's bold and innovative approach to filmmaking is evident in every frame. From the camera work to the creative use of the special effects, watching the film feels like being on a roller coaster ride through the darkest recesses of somebody's imagination, with each twist and turn bringing a new surprise and delight. But beyond the technical, Evil Dead 2 is a film with heart. At its core, it's that story of resilience in the face of unimaginable horror. Bruce Campbell as Ash is iconic as he transforms from a bumbling everyman into a larger-than-life hero who will stop at nothing to survive. His journey from terrified victim to triumphant badass is as inspiring as it is entertaining. And it's a testament to Bruce Campbell's talent that he can carry the film so perfectly. Another aspect that I love is its unapologetic embrace of the absurd. The film revels in its own insanity. Sam Raimi is a known fan of the Three Stooges, and that is obvious here, as they gleefully push the boundaries of good taste and common sense at every turn. The possessed deerhead to the dancing corpse make me think of what would the Three Stooges do if they were stuck in a horror movie. It's a movie that's not afraid to embrace that weird and the wonderful, and I can't help but admire that. But perhaps what I love most is its lasting impact on the horror genre. It's a film that has inspired countless other filmmakers and artists, influencing so many comedies, horror, video games, the whole gamut. It's a blend of horror and humor that has really defined the characteristics of the genre for me. Its legacy continues to loom large whenever I watch something that claims to be a horror comedy. In short, Evil Dead 2 is an experience that's equal parts terrifying, hilarious, and just unforgettable. It's a film that I never tire of revisiting, and one that continues to captivate and inspire me with its sheer audacity and creativity. Here we'll take another quick break, and when we get back, we'll talk about some trivia. So let's see what kind of trivia we were able to find about Evil Dead 2. First, did you know that the iconic cabin where the majority of this film takes place had its own eerie history? Director Sam Raimi found the cabin while scouting locations in Tennessee and was told a rumor that it was haunted. This spooky backdrop lends a little atmosphere to the film. The cast and crew members actually reported strange occurrences during the shoot. Some even claim to have witnessed unexplained phenomenon during the filming, adding an extra layer of creepiness. And then there's those special effects. Evil Dead 2 pushed the boundaries of practical effects in horror cinema. The gruesome makeup and grotesque creature designs still hold up, and they are a testament to makeup artist Greg Nicotero, who later went on to work on, most notably today, is The Walking Dead, and he crafted most of the film's memorable prosthetics, bringing these demonic entities to life in a horrifying detail. The scene where Ash's possessed hand attacks him is a testament to Nicotero's skill, with the intricate puppetry adding a visceral intensity to that sequence. And you can't help but shine a spotlight on Bruce Campbell, his unforgettable performance as Ash. Campbell portrays the beleaguered hero in this physical comedy, and sheer resilience is wonderful. Campbell actually suffered numerous injuries during filming, including a broken jaw, which he powered through to deliver one of the most iconic performances. His commitment to the role and willingness to endure physical hardship really elevate the movie from mere horror flick to a darkly comedic tour de force. And as we talked about, Sam Raimi's signature style on full display throughout the film, the kinetic camera work and the inventive editing techniques creating a sense of disorientation and dread that keeps us on the edge of our seat. From the frenetic tracking shots through the woods to the dizzying POV sequences of the demonic entities chasing Ash, Raimi really adds a palpable sense of tension and excitement to every scene. And then you have to take a moment to really appreciate the film's enduring impact on the horror genre. Evil Dead 2 continues to inspire filmmakers and artists. Its blend of horror and comedy serving as a blueprint for future genre mashups. Its influence can be seen in everything from the self-aware humor of Cabin in the Woods to the DIY aesthetic of low-budget indie horror films like Cabin Fever and the early films like that. It's a testament to that creativity and ingenuity of the cast and crew, whose passion for their craft resonate with audiences. With that, we'll take one last break right here, and when we get back, we'll do a quick summary and give you our rating of Evil Dead 2. As we bring our deep dive into Evil Dead 2: Dead by Dawn to a close, it's clear that this film is as unique as it is unforgettable. It's a journey into the realm of horror and dark humor. Despite its moderate critical rating, because I do understand it's not a perfect movie, I give it a 7.5 out of 10. Its significance and impact on both the horror genre and pop culture cannot be understated. Which is why, for me, it's not just a movie, it's a nostalgic trip down memory lane. So I give it, for myself personally, it's a 10 out of 10. I love this movie. That's the nostalgia goggles on. It does have its problems from a cinematic perspective and from a real critical aspect. But for me, it's perfect. Evil Dead 2 stands as a testament to the boundless creativity and sheer determination of its cast and crew, from Bruce Campbell to Sam Raimi and everyone else, blending all this over-the-top bravado and surprising vulnerability in there that makes this relatable and enduring, especially as a protagonist. Meanwhile, Raimi's innovative direction, his mastery of practical effects set a standard for horror filmmaking in the 80s, inspiring filmmakers to push the boundaries of the genre. Beyond those technical achievements, though, Evil Dead resonates because of its unique blend of horror and humor, a delicate balance that few films can actually replicate. From the absurdly gory set pieces to Campbell's deadpan one-liners, every moment of the film is infused with a sense of manic energy and an anarchic spirit that keeps us on the edge of our seats. It's a film that revels in its own absurdity, inviting audiences to join in on the fun and embrace the chaos. So whether you are a seasoned horror aficionado or just a casual moviegoer looking for a wild ride, Evil Dead 2 is a must-watch for anyone with a taste for the macabre. Its legacy as a cult classic is well-deserved, and its influence can be felt in everything from horror cinema to video games to pop culture as a whole. As we bid farewell to the haunted cabin and its demonic inhabitants, I can't help but feel a sense of gratitude for the thrills and the chills that Evil Dead 2 has provided me over the years. And with that, I want you to remind everybody, we always love to hear from our listeners. Share your thoughts on Evil Dead 2. Suggest future films for us to review by reaching out to us at therealrealtalk@gmail.com or find us on Instagram and Threads at realrealtalk. And don't forget, join us next time as we continue our series on My Desert Island Movies with a review of Wizard of Oz. Until then, keep watching, keep loving, and keep those reels rolling. Thanks, everyone.